Welcome back to another session of the PFRPA Podcast. And today, I am here with one of the original Hogs, Joe Gibbs. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man.
Thanks for hanging out.
That never gets old. Sometimes it hits you like, oh gosh, why did we ever pick that name? But then again, it's great history. It's a name that I think other linemen grew from that, and it's a recognition, notoriety, and built off of that.
But it is permeated. It's a name that's permeated the entire offensive line everywhere, right? You're always the Hogs. Oh, that's the Hogs. The Hogs. It all started with your
people
team.
Don't know who I am, and they may get me mixed up with somebody else from that group.
Yeah.
They go, I know you. I've seen you. Matter of fact, it happened when we were in Nashville talking, and with that, we were up in the concierge lounge, and walks in Gil Brandt. Yeah. And Gil Brandt sits down on the other side. He goes, man, you look familiar. I said, Gil. I said, how do you forget me? I said, you saw me for 13 years, twice a year. He goes, who are you? I said, Jacoby. He goes, man, one of them Hogs.
Yeah, right? I mean, what a let's educate some folks if they don't know, especially for some of our younger viewers out there. So take us back and let's talk about when the Hogs first originated. Tell me about how the name came about. How'd that all happen?
Oh, man. Well, we had our line coach at that time with Joe Gibbs. Excuse me. And we were a young group of linemen. I was in my rookie year. Russ Grimm, Mark May, Jeff Bostic in his second year was cut from Philadelphia and ended up picked up by the Redskins. And the senior veteran guy was George Stark. And we had other guys, but the 4 out of the 5 starters were 3 were rookies and 1 second-year player, and then the vet. And Joe Bugle wanted to create unity, camaraderie amongst the guys. So he created the T-shirt, the Hogs. The picture that you originally see on that, was from Joe Bugle. And Joe Bugle handed them out and said, we're going to wear these every Thursday. If you don't wear your shirt, and as far as building our group, there's a $5 fine went into a kitty that went to a party at the end of the year. So there was a pride factor come in there now with linemen. I mean, I'm not going to, and guys start wearing them. And and he would say to us during practice, all right, you Hogs, let's go down to the pit and start hitting the sled. And that's carried over. And like anything Brian, winning and something catches, it just took off. And now I'm looking up in RFK, and I'm seeing guys in dresses with hog snouts.
Hog snouts,
We had our own cheering group, but not something that we wanted to write home to mom about. And I'm still friends with these guys today. I mean, they're all retired now. They retired from the original Hogs.
So I'm thinking, what year that comes to my mind, and I could be off here, but obviously I'm thinking early 80s, and I don't know why 1982 keeps coming up to me. What was the year? So first Super Bowl.
Well, 1981 is our rookie year. First Super Bowl the next year, 82, the strike season.
That's why 82 keeps coming back to me. That's right.
And so, like I said, winning, we go out on strike, we come back, we run through the playoffs and stuff, and we beat Dallas that year in the NFC Championship game to go to Super Bowl 17. And we did it with the line play and Riggins running for almost 150 yards that game. And then we carried on into the Super Bowl and win that Super Bowl. And everything just started building off of that.
So I want to. He's not going to be able to walk out of this room when we're done here. He's going to be a little inflated up here, but that's all right. I have something to share with you, and I maybe you don't realize this, maybe you do, but it was such a big deal for offensive linemen, young offensive linemen around the country, that name Hogs became it was a pride thing because it's not a glamorous position to play, right? You're the guy that's in the pit fighting, every down, and you don't touch the ball, nobody's paying attention until you do something wrong, right? But all of a sudden there was this pride thing that came with being a Hog. And I remember first hearing about it when I was in high school in the late 80s. And I had a high school coach named Harvey Herman, actually, one of my most favorite coaches I've ever had, start talking to me about like the Hogs, the Redskins, and what they're doing. I'm going to build this here on our team, right? So it became this unity thing of us hanging out together, just emulating what you did. Right. But here's where it gets bigger. Then they go off to Michigan State. And I'm there with Pat Morris, who, of course, went on many successful years coaching in the NFL, offensive line coach. And it was the same thing because I want to build this tradition around here of the Hogs. Right, our Hogs here at State, of this unity, of this team, of these 5 guys that, it's this group that will live and die for each other, right? And that permeated everything. So from my high school years on through college years, on to the pro years, this legendary Hogs offensive line. I mean, no offensive lineman doesn't know about the lore and the history and what you guys were able to accomplish. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, and, as I look back, and it's been what I tell everybody, being at the draft and getting invited here to do this. And it took me 38 years to get here at the draft because I was undrafted.
Wow.
I wasn't even drafted. And so this is a big honor for me.
Yeah.
And I was telling my wife was there that first day when we checked in. And for me, where I guess reality and being humbled was Joe Green came up to me and introduced himself to me and knew who I was.
Wow.
Yeah. To me, I'm going, and she even knew my wife. She goes, I said, yeah, that was Joe Green. I said, that's cool. That was cool.
That's about as cool as it gets for a lineman.
The offensive lineman and where that name, it grew. And yeah, it started out, everybody, we kind of laugh about it and think it's funny. But
it's
look
everywhere.
How it's almost like the Christian faith and how things grow from that.
Yeah.
And you believe. And you have a little confidence, and you saw what it did to our team, and you see what it does to other teams. And now I see these young offensive line coaches. Now I was just involved in a camp called Trench Corps Camp, and it's just O-line, D-line, and that's it. It's not all the skilled guys, quarterbacks,
skilled guys.
Do it. I said, you know what? It's a skill to be a lineman.
That's right.
So, a 5'10", 160, 180-pound guy can't play offensive line. You're going to put him there, but he's not going to be very successful.
Right.
But I think it built confidence. It built something that guys took pride in because it wasn't just, most time when I played in high school and stuff, is that you got put down as a lineman because they didn't know where else to put you because you were big. And let's get him down there. He could play. We'll stick him on the line.
Right.
And now we've taken that, and now there's a pride factor in it. There's these camps
Absolutely.
coming up, and it's a big man's camp. And which is, I think, looking back, did we have a help in that? I don't know.
It's funny because even, I'm thinking about all these times I've heard this reference to the Hogs in my career. I even remember when my son, when he started playing football, we live in Austin, Texas. So, football is huge there, of course. And I remember there's no question he's putting his hand in the dirt, right? He's not going to be a quarterback.
They don't do that much.
He's a big old kid.
Either.
Yeah, that's right. Right? That's for sure. But no question he was going to be a lineman. And I remember getting into his first team, and I'm coaching him and talking about how important it is that the guy next to you, right? And I literally told all the boys about the Hogs and talked about the 82 Redskins, and I talked about this. This is what it looks like, right? Like, this is what it looks like to be an offensive line. What is that? after all these years and just hearing something like that, that you accomplished something that is so seated in the lore of the game itself. What does that mean to you?
Wow. I never look at things as far as that type of, how it fits into the game. But, hearing that, being asked the first time or responded to it my first time, I probably ignored it some other times, and people have asked me. It's back to what I said earlier. It's humbling that we did something just out of chance, but it really wasn't out of chance because God planned it to be that way.
Russ Grimm also knew what he was doing. Right? There's that offensive lineman. He didn't affect somehow,
look at it. I mean, it's building somebody. It's reinforcing the aspect of a team concept that you can't do it by yourself. And it forces that's cool, and it's all right to be in alignment.
That's right.
Because of what they accomplish and what they mean to the team. And I always tell people when you're in construction or stuff, or you're building houses, you live in the houses, I said, when that thing is being planned and when they start building it, where do they start? Well, most people start at the foundation. And so that's where you start with building a team, the foundation. And that's your line play, offensive D-line. Then you build around that.
That's
but
right.
You've got to have a strong foundation.
Well, it's funny because I think that was one of the big things in Jacksonville. So I had the honor of being a part of Jacksonville's very first team in 1995 when they came in the league, and just how Tom Coughlin built that team. I mean, getting me and Baselli picks, round one, round two. Me and Baselli had our tackles. Of course, we had pulled in Waddell to have that wily old vet at center, like 8 years with Denver, and then picking up guys like Jeff Novak and Sean Bowens, and he was building from the line back, and it was. It was a huge part of our success. So by year 2, we were one game away from the Super Bowl as a brand new team, and this is a team where, heck, 2 years ago we didn't know each other, and here we are now playing in the AFC Championship game for a shot at the title, right? It was amazing to see that whole theory of building and the offensive line being the foundation.
What I remember with that, and I've seen it with other teams, I think it's contagious.
Yeah.
I think if you get a strong core group of linemen, other guys relate to it. And I know my wife and I, when I got out of the business world for a while, got back into football coaching, and I still do that. And the first coaching stop I had was a small little Division III school. And we weren't very successful, but we had more success than they've ever had. And what we did as a family, I had the linemen over once every week, dinner. But they came over and they got to see our family. Yeah. My wife, me, our 2 daughters. Our daughters were roughly high school, early college age at that time. And, they saw the family unit working. Now, I mean, all those guys still keep in contact with me. Yeah. I know their families and stuff like that. It's we keep building it and building all that. And I was in part of learning that. Maybe that was my learning process and my training ground, that early 80s.
Sure.
And seeing all that. And now I get to do that all over again multiple times. And it's neat to see, and faith, and people give them faith in what they could build off of, on their abilities.
So with 3 Super Bowls, right? Mm-hmm. 3 Super Bowl victories. This is for younger folks out there, this is the Doug Williams era Redskins. Was he with all 3 of the? Was he the quarterback for all 3?
No, our first Super Bowl, I played in 4, 17, 18, okay. Theismann, 22.
Theismann, that's right. Oh my gosh.
22 with Doug Williams and 26 with Mark Rippon.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had 3 different quarterbacks.
So Theismann, oh wow, that brings back. I remember watching the break.
Yeah, on his leg.
Oh my goodness!
But see, that's another thing. The line, we had the line, but we had to shuffle the line. I was out. I was out for 5 weeks. I missed that game. Well, I was on the sideline, and I could hear it from the sideline. The break sounded like a shotgun going off.
That was just devastating to watch that, and
Yeah.
obviously.
But I mean, the team rebounded. The Jay came in and pulled everybody together. The line, and did a good job. It was just a freak nature thing that happened. It was nothing.
And obviously, amazing quarterback. So how do you replace that other than go get a Doug Williams, right?
And that's what we did. And then Doug came in and did it, the Super Bowl 22. And I have never been involved in anything in sports, especially the game of football, in that second quarter of offense, of explosion that we had. There was 5 touchdowns and 18 plays.
So who are you playing against that game?
That was the Broncos.
The Broncos.
So it was, like I said, 5 touchdowns and 18 plays, 356 yards in 1 quarter.
Oh my goodness!
1 quarter. And we had for the game, 6 touchdowns. It was
it's all over the record books. It's got.
I think the yardage has been broken by the 49ers later when they played against San Diego. It was 55-10. They had more.
Oh my gosh!
But I mean, we had over 600 yards of offense. But Timmy Smith, individual rushing record, 204 yards for the game.
Oh my gosh!
That's
amazing. That's
amazing.
So
we were in some neat championships, and we were very blessed. I mean, for a kid who wasn't given a shot, wasn't drafted, the head coach at the Redskins at that time, Coach Gibbs, his first year, thought I was a defensive lineman. And true story. And I was almost cut before I got to go to my first camp.
So where'd you play college ball?
University of Louisville, 2 hours north of here.
Right.
Yeah.
So undrafted, free agent with the Skins,
And your head coach was trying to catch you.
No idea what position you play. That's not a good position to be in. But an amazing place to end up, right? So all you've been able to accomplish in your career is amazing. How many years did you play total?
13
years. Like that's another amazing feat.
It is amazing, and like I said, so many amazing things and blissful things that have happened.
So there's a lot of, especially with the Redskins during your day, there are so many things out there that everybody just sees all the time. It's the Super Bowl, it's the hit with Theismann, and what I want to hear is about the favorite memory of football for you, your favorite memory that nobody else would know. Now, before you start, I have a story that I tell about my favorite memory about Reggie White. So it was my rookie year.
Oh, well, I could probably use that favorite.
Right?
That's one of my memories, and it says the volume of that man. And it has to do with football, but not the game of football.
Yeah.
Has to do about the man. And it happened up in Philadelphia. It was not a good day for me. I got hurt. I was on a field goal and blew out my knee, my left knee. I was right guard. And back then, Philadelphia did the 5 guys from inside shoulder of guard to the inside shoulder of the next guard. And then we had a 245-pound snapper. And I kept reminding him, do not raise your head because they will blow you back. He raised his head, and I couldn't get my leg, how we lock. Yeah, so I tore the ACL, MCL, the cartilage, patella tendon. I just remember I was trying to get up, and my kneecap was on the left side of my leg. And I'm hopping around. The trainer comes out and pushed me down and yelling at me, get down. I said, no, you're not carrying me off this field. I'm walking off. He goes, get down. He pushes me down again. And so finally I settled down. He goes, there's no way. He goes, you can't. He goes, you got to be. He goes, settle down. So he got me to calm down. And, man, my knee was just killing me. My leg was just aching.
Imagine.
And what settled it, he finally popped the patella tendon back over. It was like, the pressure was gone. Well, then they take me in, and this is right before halftime. So halftime, I stay in there for the second half, listen to the game. We end up coming back to win. So now the game's over. I'm still sitting there. I'm getting changed. In comes Reggie White and Jerome Brown. Remember Jerome Brown?
Yep. Yes, I do.
They come in to check on me and make sure I was fine. Now, that's pretty classy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody else in the league doing that throughout history but Reggie.
But Reggie White and Jerome Brown.
So let me tell you, I'll tell you this will go right along with that story. So the week before me, I was in my rookie year.
Right.
I was playing right tackle at the time, and Reggie had just played against the Bears and another rookie tackle. He got like 6 sacks in one game. So the next week, they put our game on national TV saying Reggie's going to break the all-time sack record by game 4. It's right. So the whole world's media is down on me, and so anyways, and I end up getting through the game and giving up only 1 sack to Reggie. And I've never been more happy for the seconds to tick off a clock than that game. Like, I just couldn't wait for it to be over. But anyways, I'm walking out. We're going to our tunnel. He's going to theirs. And as I'm getting closer to the tunnel, I see big number 92 sprinting across the field. Like, what? Like, is he coming over here? Like, nah, it can't be. I keep walking. He picks up pace, and he's running at me. I'm like, oh, my gosh, Reggie wants to fight me.
What did
I mean, what in the world would he be running across the field? He literally came over, smacked me on my backside, and said, you're going to be all right, kid. You've arrived. You made it. Good job, man. He was great job, great game today. Off. That was it, Reggie. But the fact that he took the time,
Right.
Great job, kid, to come across the field.
What a class guy he was.
Like, unbelievable human being. And I broke all the Reggie rules, right? You don't curse at him. You don't chop block him. You don't take the Lord's name in vain. Right? Everybody knew.
Some of the guys on our team did that too, started using that. And he goes, you don't use the Lord's name in vain. Now, this is the middle of the play and stuff.
I chopped him in the first quarter. Right? Hard. And took him out. Boom. He literally got up and he snatched me by my shirt and he said, you can't hurt the Lord, man. I was like, I'm dead. I'm dead. He's going to kill me now. Right? Anyways, Joe, this has been an absolute honor just having you here talking to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. To have such a legendary player, especially an offensive lineman, fellow offensive lineman.